Welcome to the new Carleton Varney Suite. Here we are in what has been our signature project, coming back to Grand Hotel with the Dorothy Draper Company. We were offered a really nice opportunity this year to take what was known formerly as the West Bluff Suite and turn it into the Carleton Varney Suite, which KSL and Davidson were kind enough to name after my father after his passing this summer. What we did, Rudy Saunders, our design director, who you just saw open up the door from one side, we focused on what we felt was the best celebration of Carleton's talents and contributions here at the hotel.
So here in the entrance hall, we wanted to keep it that sort of presidential kind of formality. So the walls are upholstered in a beautiful Carleton V damask in sort of a golden yellow color. Mr. Varney loved upholstering the walls. It's such a sumptuous, kind of luxurious thing that really kind of sets the tone as you enter the suite. The classic checkerboard floor was a total Draper move that Mr. Varney certainly celebrated. Crystal, the Venetian mirror, is an antique that was in the hotel before that we moved up into the suite. Here on this wall is the Karsh portrait that Mr. Varney sat for. And I think it's a wonderful photo. He's in his flowing silk scarf, so kind of, again, really a great celebration of him. On either side, the brackets with the Staffordshires was kind of a classic trademark of his. And then on the walls are some photos of Mr. Varney, both with the Carters from his time in the White House, as well as from photos and things from his time as the curator of the Sequoia, which was the presidential yacht.
Come on in, let's show you the parlor. This is the most layered of all the rooms. It's the most celebrational of all the rooms. We've used soft goods, hard goods, metals, frames, paints, and furniture to layer in the different feelings and textures. This is a brand new rug that was custom colored in Ireland and shipped in. Any guest who will come in here will feel that there's a texture and a depth to this rug that sort of speaks for itself, as well as the hand-dyed color and nature of it. You'll see a very signature fabric that my father designed in 1975 called Growing Wild, which we still sell to this day as part of the Carleton V line. It also has wallpaper, which was a signature Mrs. Draper and Carleton element, that there would be wallpaper that matched the fabric. There are other signature fabrics in here. The club chairs are in one of Carleton's favorite fabrics, which is a silk woven in Italy called Copacabana. It features a banana leaf, which was something that Carleton really liked to have as a scale, an element of making things natural, unexpected, because people would think a banana leaf is more tropical, but it suits this island. Green was an incredibly important color to him, especially because of his time doing projects in the Caribbean and as well as South America.
So kind of the center point of the room is the birdcage chandelier, and that's sort of a signature Draper. Mrs. Draper originally designed them in the 50s for the Metropolitan Museum of Art, the restaurant there, and this is something that Mr. Varney reproduced and we have on the line today. So again, a very signature Draper. The table is taken from a hotel Mrs. Draper did in San Francisco and from the archives, and it's produced by Kindle Furniture.
One element I think that's important to show, it's something that my father did for almost his entire career and was very personal to him, is that he wore scarves as a tie, as basically not really an ascot, but he would have them trimmed. So he did tons and tons of designs of scarves over his entire career for different periods. They're framed throughout the hotel. This is one we picked because it was a specific one that he liked to wear. It has his initials in it, it's framed in the room, and it really encompasses so much of the use of color. I don't know if there's a color left out of it. Carleton was also a very happy person. The glass wasn't half full, the glass was totally full, and it was never empty. I think the use of color in here speaks to his view on the world, that he saw this is how he saw things. It was a kaleidoscope of color, and that's really how we interpreted his vision into this room and tried to celebrate all the colors and elements he saw.
We did these daffodil lamps. Daffodils were Mr. Varney's favorite flower. He always planted thousands of them in Ireland for every spring. And so we wanted to have that. They're lamps he designed, but fun to have that little feature here for him.
I think we should step into the First bedroom. Bedroom 1, more of the master bedroom, celebrates a period of my father's career and his work that I think spoke to his traditional American side. This is an example of the wall covering and fabric matching that I spoke about in the other room. This is classic, country, formal that Carleton did in some of his northeastern projects, southeastern projects, commercial projects, but this really kind of reminds me of my own home. This is something that actually a paper I have in our home in the Hudson Valley today. Different color. This is an updated color that really spoke to Carleton's use of bright blues. We incorporated some of the Copacabana because it's, again, signature fabric to make this a Draper-esque look.
We really wanted to celebrate that kind of glamour and elegance in this room too, kind of that layer of Mr. Varney. So there's some different elements that have that glamour, and some on the walls there are a few photos of his Hollywood clients that Joan Crawford, Ethel Merman, Van Johnson, and with him that really kind of was such a part of him and some of his stories that he brought and lessons learned over the years.
A very big element of my father's theory in terms of commercial design. The thing that he was so taken by was that my job is to create and sell memories of places that are once-in-a-lifetime experiences. So we believe that we've recreated that for the Grand Hotel guest, the essence of Carleton's classic traditional American career with a Draper touch on it. Let's go to bedroom 2.
So for this room, we really wanted to kind of celebrate that sort of cottage on the water, cottage on Mackinac Island feeling. And so for this, the furnishings were in here. Mr. Varney purchased for the hotel some time ago, and we painted them all white, which was a very classic Draper move, but again, very, very cottagey, very fresh for summer. On the walls is a custom Carleton V we did for this space, Boca Grande. It's kind of an overscale cane pattern that we did in a yellow. Mr. Varney loved sunshine, loved just the brightness and kind of that energy. So that's a great backdrop for the space. Layering then in the promenade, which is sort of a take on botanicals, and so kind of a classic country flower. And so that on the bed canopies as well as window treatments with then the pops of pink, kind of that unexpected and freshness. And up above on the ceilings throughout the suite, you'll see what we call Carleton blue, and it's just that soft aqua that really just kind of adds a great touch to every room.
So this photograph, very special to me as an individual, was taken on one of my earliest trips to Mackinac. My father with myself in the parlor, and of course, Dan Musser, I used to call him Senior or Mr. Musser, a wonderful, wonderful person, the foundation of our relationship with Grand Hotel. That photograph was taken almost 40 years ago to the day. So I aged myself a little bit, but I'm not going to tell you, but I was under 10. So that's a very special photograph for us and myself, because it's the foundation of really the early years of my dad's relationship with the hotel.
So it's the August 1981 issue of Architectural Digest, and it's celebrated after kind of the initial couple seasons of Mr. Varney's time here on Mackinac. And so there's photos of the parlor, the first rendition of the Ottoman bar, the Woodfill suite. And it's just kind of a fun celebration and great way to show Grand Hotel off to not only the design community, but also the broader world.
So to sort of sew it all up, we're really looking forward to having guests who have been coming year after year, and new guests as well, to come and really understand the man, the individual, the artist who created the look that this hotel has celebrated now for over 40 years. I think we've done an homage to his career and to him as a person, to show his incredible range of talent, and we hope that the guests of this room again go away remembering this room as a once-in-a-lifetime experience, and maybe they'd like to come back and stay here a second time as well.